Thank you, President O'Reilly. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the new class. It is such a joy to be with you. Many years ago, as a young bishop, I received a telephone call from the Bishops' Conference, and they said, President Bush just called us, and he is having a state dinner for the President of Brazil, and they want a Catholic bishop who speaks Portuguese to come. In those days, it was a very short list. So I went. They were very surprised that an O'Malley would show up. But President Bush was very gracious, and he took me into the dining room for the state dinner. I'd never been there before. It was sort of overwhelming. And they sat me down next to President Bush, who I recognized. And on the other side was a lovely young woman who introduced herself. She said, I'm Gloria Estefan. And I said to her, do you work in the White House? Well, she was a good sport about it. She said, no, Father, I'm a famous singer. I said, well, you obviously don't sing Gregorian chant. But she didn't expect some Capuchin friar would be acquainted with all the great stars and celebrities. And the truth is, we live in a culture that is addicted to celebrities. And some of those celebrities are famous simply for being famous, and some of them, despite all of their prowess at acting or in sports or in politics or in finance, lead very self-centered lives. In the church, we have our own heroes and heroines, and they are our saints and our scholars. And we're called to be protectors and caregivers. Our existence is the result of love. We have our origins and our destiny in God's love. And in our connectedness to God, we are all connected to each other. Our God has entrusted this world to us. Our task is, as our Jewish brothers and sisters say, tikkun olam, to repair the world. Our world needs a lot of repair, a lot of caregivers and protectors. Lone rangers and celebrities won't cut it. We need people who are saints and scholars. Every year, I accompany hundreds of students to Washington, D.C. for the pro-life march in January. One year, in addition to the march, we all went to visit the Holocaust Museum. I was struck by a letter from a teacher, from a victim or a survivor of the Holocaust. His name was Chaim Ginot. And the letter was projected on the wall, and it said it was addressed to educators. He said, my eyes have seen what no man should witness. Gas chambers built by learned engineers, children poisoned by educated physicians, infants killed by trained nurses, women and children shot and burned by high school and college graduates. So I am suspicious of education. My request to you as educators is help your students to become more human. Your efforts must never produce learned monsters, skilled psychopaths, educated Eichmanns. Reading, writing, and arithmetic are important only if they make people more human. We are human, made in the image and likeness of God. We have seen how technology and science can be put at the service of selfishness and evil. Since the time of St. Benedict, 1,500 years ago, Catholic education has been about helping people to become more human. At home in our family album, we have a great picture, it's my favorite picture, of my grandparents, my Irish grandfather and grandmother in our town of Lakewood, Ohio. The photograph shows them in front of their Model T Ford. It was the first car in our town. They're both wearing goggles and have these dusters that look like white bathrobes that they're wearing. And my grandfather has a leather cap, and Nana has a huge hat attached firmly to her head by a long scarf. They were prepared for the life-threatening velocities of 15 miles an hour. But before they died, my grandparents lived to see a man placed on the moon. The 20th century was the greatest century of scientific and technological progress in the history of humanity. The television, the internet, telecommunications, cures and treatments for so many diseases that had been fatal. So many wonderful discoveries and inventions that have made our life easier and richer. At the same time, the 20th century was the most violent century in the history of the planet. 2 world wars, the Holocaust, the atom bomb, apartheid, legalized abortion, and so many examples of the destruction of people, the abuse of the environment, and the eroding of values. That's why Hiram Gnot's letter is so prophetic. And now, in the 21st century, we have AI. What will it bring? Much good and much evil, I'm sure. Science and technology can expand our knowledge of the world around us, but they can never teach us the value of things or the meaning of our existence, the purpose and mission of our life. Our faith is a light that helps us to see deeper into reality, to discover the living presence of God. And in discovering God, we discover who we are, why we're here, what we have to do with our lives. Then we discover that we're not here by accident. We're here because of God's love, and our life has a purpose. Your education here is helping you to discover those great truths. Many blessings as you embark in this new adventure.